All right, would you like to get more referrals from your friends, family, and past clients? Consider hosting a low-cost event with big impact. I'm hosting a virtual spring clean giveaway event on a shoestring budget of just 200 bucks. And if you want to see the marketing and how to set it up, you're in the right place. Let's chat. Hi, and welcome to the RAMS Agents Production Coaching Call. The goal of the call is to help you sell more homes by maximizing your repeat and referral closings by implementing the referral agent mastery system into your practice. My name is Mike Cerrone, co-founder of RAMS Agents, and my co-host is Angela Newman, a master trainer of RAMS Agents. Hello, Angela. How are you today?
Good morning, everyone. I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. It's a great day today. Real excited to share an idea. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to share a quick idea, probably take about 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll open up for your production questions and ideas. All right, so, oh, and by the way, before I do that, just a quick reminder, as a member of RAMS Agents, you can attend up to 2 group calls per week. Those are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then 5 daily huddles. Those are in the mornings each morning. And then you can also sign up for unlimited one-on-one private coaching calls. Go ahead and copy and paste this into chat real quick before I forget, since we've got everybody on here. Right there. And so this is going to go into chat. Just in case you needed any of the links or the times, they're now in there for you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into today's topic. So top solo agents, top solo agents are closing 20, 30, 40, 50 plus homes per year, some even more than that. And they're an interesting group because they tend to get about 80% of their business by repeating referrals from their PCSOI, their past clients and sphere of influence. And they need to stay top of mind with their people, and they need to do it in creative and fun ways to make sure their people remember them when they think about real estate, but they want to do it without being a pest. And so a lot of the top agents developed over the years was a very popular approach called event marketing. And so we have that as part of RAMS. And I'm going to show you, and there's a lot of ways to do events. You can do big, giant, expensive events or inexpensive events. And what they've discovered over time is that these cheap, low-cost events can generate just as many referrals as the expensive events. And so that's what we base our program on. So I'm going to share a cheap one that I'm actually putting in place right now, so that you kind of get an idea of just how people put these things together. So I'm going to run through some quick demos real fast. And let's see, there we go. Let me share my screen. Oops, let me flip this over first. I'll go ahead and start with this. So let's start with a demo. Nice and big. Almost there. Bingo. All right, everybody see the screen? All right, cool. All right, so this is a postcard. I like to do a lot of postcards. First of all, I like to do postcards. And secondly, my list is a very old list, and I just have a lot of mailing addresses rather than phone calls and social media and other things. So this is where I'm starting with my group. And so I put together this postcard. You could use it in postcard format. You can do this on social media. There's a lot of different ways to use it, but I'm just going to show you an example. So I've got this card going out. It's going to be going out this week. It's a spring clean giveaway. We got a picture of cleaning up in the spring, and we're offering a $100 Amazon gift card to the winner of a drawing. And so I've got some description of what it is. I'll go ahead and read that for you. It says, hey, enter a random drawing for a chance to win a digital $100 Amazon gift card to buy anything you need to spring clean your home. The deadline to enter is Monday, April 28th. The drawing is on Tuesday, April 29th, and prize will be emailed to the winner on Wednesday, April 30th. There's no cost to enter. Limit 1 entry per household. And then I've got a way for them to respond. and that is to enter. They can text this phone number, the statement, enter their name into the April 2025 giveaway. So as I mentioned, I have a lot of addresses, but I don't have a lot of phone numbers. I don't have a lot of emails either. So I'm doing things to collect data. And as they respond, by the way, I start to collect this data. And this is one of the response mechanisms I'm going to be using. And as you can see, the objective is if they text me, then I'm going to be seeing their phone number, right? So now I'm going to capture their phone number. So that's one benefit for me. This, for the benefit for them, is they get to enter the drawing. So that's the front of the card, pretty simple. And then we've got the back of the card. There we go. The back of the card is my more generic message that I'm kind of developing, and it's very simple. Hey, if you're thinking about selling, if you're thinking about buying, here's some couple things that we can offer for you. And then at the top, I just wanted to, and I don't know what side they're going to see the card. So at the top, I say, hey, check out the back to see the opportunity to win a $100 gift card. I've got my photo. I've got some, just some stats on me. I've got a way for them to respond. This is going out on a, I think it's a 6x9 postcard, so it's a pretty good size postcard. So then they got the address and the information that the mail house needs on the bottom. These cards go out for 91 cents a piece, I think, with our mail house currently. I'll read the selling for you real fast. So it says selling, hey, thinking about selling a property, want to know how much it's worth, how long it will take to sell, how much cash you will receive, and tips to maximize the price. Call or text me for a free consultation. By the way, if you're thinking about talking to a seller about you're initiating a conversation with a potential seller and you're trying to give them some benefits for continuing the conversation with you, there are three things that they really want to know. And you'll notice they're in this sentence. One is how much their home is worth. Two, how long it's going to take to sell. And three, how much cash they're going to receive at closing. And I've added this last one, also some tips to maximize the price. All right, and then over on buying, hey, thinking about buying a property, want to receive a list of homes that matches your exact criteria, plus first buyer instant notification. When your dream house enters the market, call or text me for a free consultation. And boom, that's for the buyers to respond. All right, so that's how we're going to start off this this giveaway for the spring clean giveaway. This is the back to the front of the card, and that's it. First of all, before I go on, and I'm going to share some more information, but before I go on, any questions about the card? If you do, just mute yourself and let me know what you're thinking. All right, I'm going to assume that that's all good then. Do this. All right, so if you're going to do this contest, you need to have some kind of marketing to get out there and reach out to your people. Again, you can do this through postcards, social media, email, text, phone call, all kinds of mediums. I'm going to go into that in just a second. But for some fun, once they respond in, you can use the wheel of names to go ahead and pick a winner. And this is kind of a neat program. It's free. It's currently free. You can see they have little ads over on the left. That's probably how they keep it free. But if you go to wheelofnames.com, you can see this thing. And if you enter their names over here on the right, and then you can spin a wheel. So for instance, I'm going to add a name here. Let's add Sam. So notice when I add Sam's name over on the right, it just added Sam's name into the wheel. I can take out names. Let's take out three names here. And so now it reduces the name. So you can put first name, last name, whatever you're going to be doing. Probably first name, last name if you have a big list so they know who it is. But you can take that from your entries and put them on this wheel. And then you can do the contest to find out who the winner is. Be sure to record this if you can on video, that it's documenting what happened. And if you don't do that, at least take a screenshot of who the winner is at the end. So you've documented that you gave this away in a randomly. All right, so as an example, you would say, hey, I'm about to spin the wheel to find out who our winner is of our $100 gift card to Amazon for the spring clean event. Let's find out who the winner is. And you can go ahead and click this button and let's see what happens. All right, and so Beatrice won, and we let Beatrice know that she's the winner. We've got it on video. We at least take a screenshot of this. So we now have that for our records. All right, so that is the wheel of names. We had our advertisement. We're going to go now real quick into reminding you that you've got the quick start guide. This is where you have all the information that you can run one of these events. And all the marketing material that you'll need to do it as well. So if you go down into our table of contents, we've got how you can prepare your list, putting your PCSOI list together. We got email marketing, social media marketing, direct mail, and then we also have calls and events, which is combining a lot of the above information. So we're going to go down into events real quick here, just to give you a quick reminder of what's here. So we've got events. We like quarterly events. So once every 3 months, you do an event to get in front of your people on top of the other things that you're doing. And let's just run through this real fast. So you're going to want to follow your state laws and rules when you do these giveaways. You're going to select a prize. So I selected in this example that I just gave you, I just selected a $100 gift card. Plus I'm spending about $100 to do the direct mail. So my total campaign cost is about 200 bucks. You can do multiple prizes and multiple amounts. And I just picked the spring clean, which is the event that we just showed you. And you need to set the dates next. And here's some recommendations for dates. You need to decide a way for them to enter the event. I showed you in my example, they're going to text me. They can either call or text, enter the, actually I just said text. So text me for my postcard. So right here it says, hey, to enter, text this phone number, the statement. That's how they would enter. But there are other ways to do it. You can create a form that they go online and they fill out. They can call you. They can send you an email. However you would like to do it. And just make sure you're tracking who's entering your event. All right. And let's see, what else do we got here? We've got some language that you can use if you're setting up a form. Here you go. Here's the spring clean one. And then we're going to go down to again, more language for you for that prize entry. Winner selection, I just showed you using the wheel of names, how you can pick the winner. This is a checklist for all the details to make it work. And again, I recommend you do a video recording of the drawing itself so you can document that. You can do it live on Facebook Live. You can just do it by yourself and record it and edit it and send it out, or just record it and keep it for your own records. But you can have a lot of fun with it to share it with your people. You got a winner notification. You want to make sure you reach out to the winner, let them know that the prize is available and how to pick it up. Prize delivery, if at all possible, try to get a picture of the winner with the prize. So you have social proof that you can show to the group that you do what you say you're going to do. And then the promotion. So the main ways that we have in this document to promote are through email. So as an example, right here, here's all the email text that you would need to do the spring clean event. Okay, it's already there. It's already designed for you. You can just take this as your format, fill in a couple blanks. It's done. And if you want, you can modify it and change it to meet your needs or any of the particulars that you have, or just anything you want to do to make it your own. But that'll give you at least a format to start with. And that was an example of email. We also have social media. As an example, let's see. So we got the spring clean giveaway. We've already got a royalty-free photo that you can use. And there it is. So you can download this photo and put it into your items and you're ready to go. And then we also, again, this is for the social media post. We also have the text that you can use for the social media post. And here's the text for that one, for the spring clean event. Already done. Just take it, copy, paste it, make it yours, and put it in there. All right, what else do we have here? Let's see, we have the direct mail. You can use direct mail like I just did. You can do a photo, or you can do a letter. Excuse me, you can do a postcard or a letter. Again, I showed you how you can get the photo itself. We've got the text broken out. Now, we did this for The reason this is broken out the way it is because we use a program called Lofty. And let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Yeah, and so here's a postcard that we can make inside of Lofty, and it's just plug and play. Okay, and so this is another format that you could use for the postcard. The back, as you see, is more generic, just saying, hey, thinking about moving, ask me about my top 10 list of best homes, or ask me for the home value estimate. I had a very small space there, so I wanted to make sure that we gave the biggest impact. And then the event itself and how it works and how they can enter. In this case, we had it so they could enter with a form, or they could call or text to enter for the event. All right, almost done here. All right, let's go back into, we're back into our quick start guide. Remember, you guys all have access to this. So that was all of that data for the mail and all the entries. And also, if you decided to do either a call or a text to reach out to your people, we have a script for you as well. So the script is there to go ahead and reach out to your folks. All right, any questions about running a spring clean event? All right, anybody gonna run a spring clean event? Oh.
So
Hey, Mike, oh, go ahead, Ed.
I was just going to say that I'm working on my monthly email newsletter, so I might do one. I don't know that I'll do $100, but I might even just do a $25, a smaller one. Go ahead, Blake.
Oh, all I was going to do was just encourage anyone who hasn't done this. I thought when I did a contest using the wheel of names, that was the most dynamic part of the giveaway. I think it was very well received. I did a Facebook Live and then posted the video on Facebook and on Instagram. But that's what everybody really, they were commenting to me about. Oh, hey, I mean, literally in person commenting, saying, oh yeah, and I saw that wheel, all the names on the wheel. That was really cool. So I just wanted to reiterate that was a great idea that Mike gave us. It gives you such a more fun way of doing a drawing.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Blake. Good stuff. Yeah. So this is an option for you to do. Anybody going to do any other kind of event for the month of April? Because you have a lot of options. We just kind of give you the structure and the format for how to do a giveaway, but there's all kinds of events that you could do. Anybody doing anything different, like doing something for Easter or any other type of event? Anybody else? Anybody else want to share? No, that's all right. That's all right. Blake, I know Blake's doing his miniature goat petting event, and I think it's coming up. Is it this upcoming weekend?
It is, yeah. I am doing the come play with our baby goats this Saturday, and we mailed out. I don't know exactly how many we mailed out. Probably about 60 direct mail flyers that I printed up just a one sheet, and then my wife actually did the addressing. She was a first grade teacher for almost really 30 years, so she has the best handwriting. Anyway, she addressed all the envelopes. We mailed them out. We've gotten a lot of RSVPs because I asked for RSVPs. But it's on our property at our house, in our front yard, and it's so simple. We're just saying we've got a lot of baby goats that have been born over the past few weeks. Come, bring your family, bring your kids, and come play with the baby goats. They're a lot of fun, and take pictures. We just love to see you. Drop in between 1 and 3 o'clock on Saturday. And we've had some people decline, say, hey, thanks so much for the invitation. And some who have texted saying, yes, they're coming, or they've called. And I've also texted the flyer to a number of people, and we physically handed out a number of them, and I'm going to continue doing that this week.
That is awesome, Blake. That is awesome. And you just brought up a great point. Blake, what's the power of doing an event? Why do an event?
It's the invitation, of course, the invitation. And that's absolutely the key. Whether or not somebody could come or not, I'm amazed at the people who are letting us know, thanks for asking, but I can't come. You know, I need to do better when people ask me to do stuff.
Yeah, it gave you a reason to get in front of all your people putting on this event.
Right.
The postcard I showed earlier is going out to 100 people. It's going out to my people. It's getting in front of them. Whether they respond or not, whether they participate or not, they are going to see my face. They're going to see Blake's face. They're going to see our information and that we're thinking about them because we invited them to the event, right? We could have sent out a piece saying, hey, are you thinking about listing your home? Call me. That's absolutely an option. This is just a softer way to get in front of our people. And Blake he showed us, he's in his car driving, and be careful, Blake. But he had, for his event that he's doing, he mentioned his wife handwriting the envelopes, which looked amazing. Not only that, it was very unique in that Blake chose a black envelope with white lettering. Really pops, really stands out, creates some curiosity. I assume that you're getting a really great response just on that because people are opening it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt people are opening it. I mean, first off, anytime you get something hand addressed in an envelope, you're probably going to open that. Yeah, these are really popping as, with the black, it stands out. I think it stands out as an invitation. Looks like a more formal invitation.
It does. What a great idea. Blake, good luck on the event this weekend. Can't wait to hear the good news coming back. Blake is also, if I recall from prior events, you're going to be taking pictures, video, make sure you're documenting this with the event that you're putting on at your property. And if you haven't heard about Blake and his miniature goats before, Blake has a farm, and he's tying that into his marketing with his real estate, right? Something that's unique to him, something other people, his competition can't duplicate it. And his people understand, they connect the two, right? These cute little goats. He showed us one. I mean, they're like little cats about the size of a cat, and they're so cute. And I assume they're really soft they look really soft when you pet them, and there's a tactile issue there. But anyway, these people are connecting that with him in real estate in their mind. You have to have something that's connecting in their mind and putting you up on the list of real estate agents in their mind. You want to be in the top 3 and preferably the top 1. And this is something that's helping to catapult him up into their thought process. So great job, Blake. Love that you're doing that. Good luck with the event. Anybody have any questions for me or Blake or anyone else doing an event? All right, good. All right, Angela, do you have something there?
I do. So Patty and I are planning a summer kickoff event in June. And so we're going to make it as low cost as possible, but it'll be for PCSOI in the Oklahoma area, where we're going to cook out hot dogs. And I have a projector, a screen, a speaker. So we'll show a movie at the park. We're looking at different parks to rent a pavilion at. So
cool. So barbecue in the park.
And movie night in the park. Yep.
That's great. There have been a lot of top agents over the years that have done that type of event. Yep. One of the very first ones I talked to, John. I'm trying to remember John's last name. Oh boy. I remember everybody's face, but not their name. Sorry. But John he would do the barbecue in the park event and party marketing. And I think he was doing it with a team, but I think they were getting up to like 400 cells a year. So not a bad idea. I mean, these things are they're great ways to reach out to a large group of people and let them remind them that you're in real estate, right? Um, so I think it's a great idea, Angela, to have fun and create a big party and an event. And that's a larger event. You're going to take this party in the park. How many people do you think you're going to invite to that?
Well, I figure that we will probably, because what I like about this type of event, before when I lived in Oklahoma, we would actually rent out the drive-in theater, like we had a 2-screen drive-in movie theater, and it held 2,000 cars. But of course, this will be a lot smaller and cheaper. But what I still like about it is that you can pretty much invite everybody because it's a park and it'll be outside. You know, you'll be limited on the hot dogs and stuff, but in the end, everybody can watch the movie. So we will probably open it up to social media and Facebook. So not only my 80 PCSOI, but Patty's PCSOI, and then plus the people that we have on Facebook.
That sounds like a great idea. I can't wait to hear how that comes about. And it's just such a good concept, and sounds like a lot of fun and good timing to kick off the summer. So anybody else like that idea? Anybody else have questions for Angela? Yeah, I see some thumbs up. Good. All right, cool. Yeah, it was John Jones, by the way, who put together that event that I was trying to think of, where he would do the barbecue in the park as one of his quarterly events. And the year I was wrong. The year I interviewed John, it was 274. Nope, wasn't 400, just 274 closings. just 274 closings. Poor guy was having an off year. Yeah, so these ideas of these events, again, I didn't just like think of this in just brainstorming. This is what the top agents do. So whether they have a team or they're solos, it's just a great way to get out in front of people. All right, so anybody, let's do this. Anybody have any questions about throwing together an event for April before we move on? All right, good. Let's do this. Let's open up. Do you have any questions about production? I want to make sure that we're getting this question out there and that I'm not, running over our time before I ask this question. Do you have any questions about putting together production or how to generate more production? Any specifics, any challenges you're running into, any things you'd like, or any wins you have and you'd like to share with the group? We got the mastermind here, so go ahead and feel free to ask.
I have a quick question, if that's okay.
Go for it, Tristan.
So yesterday I was door knocking, and a lady said that she was interested in selling her home. So I set up an appointment in the evening for the listing. And at the end of the meeting, she said that she's going to think about it and get back to me in a few days. And I'm wondering, do I just wait a few days and then touch base and follow up? Or because I know, yeah, that was the question.
Sure. So you, by the way, congratulations. So door knocking just led to a listing presentation. Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Yeah. So first, let's celebrate that. That's pretty awesome. Congratulations. Tristan is getting out there in the trenches. So everybody has their way of generating business. And Tristan is really good at door knocking, feels very comfortable and invigorated at that. And he's now getting back into it now that he's up north in Canada and the weather's warming up. So he's getting back out on the doors, and he's been getting back on the doors in a big way the last couple of days, 100 doors a day, 200 doors a day, etc. And we did a little work on a script with him a couple of days back, and he's now getting a lot more leads. So congratulations, Tristan, on that. And so now it sounds like you've got an appointment, and then you got to the end of the appointment and the lady said, hey, I want to think about it. Cool. All right. So there's a lot to that question. By the way, why did she get to the point that she wants to think about it? And so in the future, make sure you're digging into, hey, no problem. That sounds great. Do you mind if I ask you what you need to think about? You know, is
So
there
she
something?
elaborated. So she said she's going to do some, take a look at my website and check out my reviews. She said she had already also interviewed two previous agents, and one of them, she said that she would most likely give him the listing. But after meeting me, she's reconsidering. So she said she wanted to sleep on it and look into it a bit more and then get back to me in a few days.
Perfect. Um, Good job, by the way, then. So you asked and you got details, you know, you're in competition with two others. Way to get in there, by the way, before she listed their property. Sounds like your timing was excellent at the door. So I think that the next thing to do here, and we'll open it up to the group too for anybody else who has an idea. I wouldn't wait the full 2 days. I would go ahead and reach back out to her today. And what I would do is offer her some additional information, right? I would reach out to her and say, hey, I just saw that, boy, this property just came on the market, or this property just had a price reduction, or I just found this property looks so much like yours. I thought of you. Um, or if you know where she wants to go, that's even better. Hey, I just found this property that meets your criteria for where you want to move to, right? I don't know if you've thought about this. Did you see this property? Or ask a question about where she wants to move. If she is staying in the same area, hey, I saw that you told me you want a 3-bedroom. Would it be okay if I showed you a 4-bedroom? Etc. Just start to get into some inquisitive questions about what she's trying to do. Get back in front of her, show her that you're interested in what she's doing and that you're doing the work. In fact, if I could say it all over again, I'd just say, show her that you're doing the work as though you already got hired. Does that make sense? Hey, I found this property. I think you're going to really like it.
So they already bought a house. So should I maybe send her like send her some of the recently sold or like something like that?
You can. Another idea, by the way, is to send her a testimonial. Do you have any testimonials?
Yeah, I do.
Because those are proof of success, right? Say, oh boy, I forgot I didn't send you this testimonial from Sally Smith or Johnny Jones or whoever and I just want to get this over to you. I just emailed it to you. Did you get it? Or hey, I just sent you the link to my website to see it, etc. Showing some kind of proof of success would be powerful as well. What you don't want to do, by the way, let's just get into this real fast, and just my advice. What you don't want to do is start offering some kind of term negotiation, like, oh, you know, I've been thinking about it. I'm willing to do it for half of what I told you. I do not recommend that approach. That's going to go south fast. Anyway, the other thing you can do when you're at the appointment, just going back in time for the next time this comes up, because it'll come up again, I hope many, many, many times. You can say, hey, cool, it sounds like you're comparing me to these other agents. How do I compare? Nice open, general open question. How do I compare? You know, what are they offering? Hey, I love to learn stuff. How do you think that they're better than me? Right? You're going to ask questions that people are scared to ask, but you're going to learn a lot about the thought process of your person. Okay. All right, anybody else have any recommendations for Tristan, who's run into this issue of he's in competition with other agents, went on listing appointment, and the seller says, I want to think about it?
In an initial kind of seller interview, a question that I try to ask is, are you interviewing any other agents? And then if they say yes, then but also you can ask, oh, do you mind if I ask, who they are? And then you can even run some numbers ahead of time if you want to. But where you're at right now, I really like the direction that Mike was going, and you could even put together an email and be very specific and say, you mentioned that you wanted to do some research about me, and I wanted to help out and just save you a little time. Here's my website. Here's some testimonials and reviews, and just put as much information, here's my career, whatever. Here's what I'm really good at. Here's everything that you can, and then you can email it, call. If she doesn't answer, leave a voicemail, and then send her a text and just say, hey, I just left you a voicemail. I wanted to let you know that I sent you an email and really appreciated our meeting and wanted to make it easy for you to find all my information. Send it to you in an email. If you don't get it, let me know, or something like that.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Mike. This is great stuff.
You bet, Tristan. Good luck. Keep focused on that road, please. Got another driver this morning. Cool. Couple other quick thoughts there. So if she says, hey, I told you to wait a day, say, yeah, but I agree with that, but I want you to know that I really want to work with you. I really like you. And I'm assuming you want an aggressive agent. So not only am I aggressively talking to you to get your business, I'll be out there aggressively following up with all the people that are interested in your property. I assume that's what you want, right? So that's an approach to take there. The other little thought is just keep this in mind for the future. When you're at the listing presentation, especially you either positioned yourself right or just happened right where you were the last agent, they already know all the information. And just know that statistically, your odds of getting the listing fall dramatically if you leave the house. Okay, so if you walk out the door, the odds of you getting the listing fall. If you stay there and continue to talk and ask them questions, your odds rise. It's just the way it is. So don't be a stalker, don't be some crazy person who just won't leave the house. But just saying, you want to get to the point that you can stay there and ask continuous follow-up questions to really get clarity on what they're thinking and where they're at, and see if you can't get them to agree to hire you right there on the spot. And some of the things that will help there are things like an easy exit listing agreement. Okay, that's what we used to call it in the old days. Basically saying that they could terminate the agreement at any time with a X time notice. So 24-hour notice, 3-day notice, 72, whatever you're going to do. But that easy exit listing allows them to feel comfortable going ahead and signing up today, knowing they could fire you tomorrow if they decide they change their mind. I'm just telling you, if you can ease them into it while you're there, your odds of success go way, way, way up. All right, you're ruling out your competition. Because the key is, by the way, once somebody signs, they've committed, because that's in our culture. If we sign, you've committed. So even if they sign an agreement that's super weak, that they could fire you just by sneezing, that's okay, because they committed to you. And for most people, that's enough. They'll stick. They'll stay with you, and they're committed to you at that point. So don't be afraid to use things like the easy exit listing agreement. Yevon, I think you were about to say something there. Did I pick up on that?
Ah, hi. No, I have like additional question for Tristan question. So is it like a good idea during like listing presentation or like talk to the seller, like for example, if you start negotiate the price because like he told you like it's like I want to sell like 30K over market price, I would say, okay, and is it a good idea to just show kind of like my own examples of listings which I cannot sell because of the price because we overpriced and the seller give up after like 4 or 5 months, and show how many times we reduce the price after that and how many potential buyers and time we waste. So is it like from your guys' experience, is it good idea to kind of show like real case example or it will be, like bad idea because it's kind of like your, bad experience, you couldn't sell the property still, and it's you understand my point, right? It's kind of like weak part. So what do you can suggest on that?
I think William was about to chime in. We got William with us today. William, were you going to say something about that?
I actually had a separate question.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'll
I'll circle back around to you in a minute. Let's get Yevin's answered first. Anybody else got some ideas for Yevin, Tristan, or Angela, or anyone else?
Well, when I meet for a listing presentation, I share the data, the CMA, and I always look at the days on market for each property, sometimes very quickly, but sometimes in more detail, and explain that those that are like 100 days on market, look at where they started, because you can see the history, and they might have started at 500,000, and then you can see, oh, then they lowered to this, and then this, and this, and they finally got to market value, and they finally went under contract and sold. And you can look at that history. But you look at this property, and they went on the market right at market value, and you could see they were only on the market 10 days. And it just lets them kind of think about it. So yes, I do like to show proof of that.
But not your own examples. It's kind of like market examples, right?
I wouldn't use my own, yeah, I would use like their neighborhood or their market examples.
Okay.
Thank you, Angela. Good point. And Yevin, I would use both. Let me go back to a couple quick concepts. First of all, always have the seller pick the price. The seller, so I have a couple rules. And number one rule on listings is the seller picks the price. I do not pick the price. Never pick, I learned that through mistakes. So I do not pick the price. The seller picks the price. I give all the data, I give a range of value, and then the seller has to pick the price. Because if I pick the price and it doesn't sell, I'm the bad guy, and it's my fault that it didn't sell because I picked that stupid price, right? All right. If they pick the price, they've committed to it. And if I've explained everything well enough, because I'll take a lot of time at the listing appointment, I've learned that too. Take a lot of time. It's okay to get this all straight. If they pick the price, then they've committed to it and they understand the pros and the cons of that price. Okay, based on the information you're seeing, you're like, yeah, if you can get that up better price, that's awesome. You got a lot more cash in your pocket. However, the downside is it might take a long time to sell or never sell at all. Tell me again about when you want to be where, okay? And so you go back into their motivation. Keep tying it into their motivation and what they want to do, their timing, and where they want to be. Always paint the picture of the future. That's what they want to talk about. They don't want to deal with the past, this house. They want to deal with the future. What is out there that they're moving towards? What are they buying? Or they're moving to, or whatever the future is. That's what they want to talk about. That house sale is the anchor that's holding them back from getting there. And so anyway, so those are some of the ideas. Number one, they pick the price. And if they'll say, well, that's why I brought you here. What do you think? Say, yeah, I'm here to help guide you, but you have to pick the price. It's your house, right? And so anyway, that's number one. Number two, you get to decide whether you want to work with them or not, based on the price and other things, just your feeling for them and the feeling for the house and the feeling for the situation. You're making that decision, and it's okay to walk away if you're not happy with any of those things or you can't get it where you want it. All that said, I'll give you the third piece, which is talking to people who did even more than me. Okay. I had a great run. I sold 113 homes in 1 year, took 21 listings in 1 month. So I've had some experience. But there are people that have done even more than that. And they have different philosophies, I learned. So my philosophy was I would not list it unless the price was really close. Okay. Other people, though, they have a different philosophy. They want to create a relationship with the people. So they'll take a listing at whatever price the seller wants, other than they don't like to take it, obviously, if it's really too low. For whatever reason, the seller picked the number too low. They will try to bring them up to a fair market. but oftentimes it's the other way. They're overpricing. And their theory is, hey, if I can get in there, help them out, I explain to them that they're overpriced at the appointment, okay? And then I'll work with them in the future because maybe they just want to test the market. Fine, we'll test the market, no problem. Let's go ahead and test it out and see what happens. And so that's the final part of all of this, is if they decide that they're going to set the price, you're good with working with them, and you're going to go ahead and take that listing with your belief that it's overpriced. You may not know, especially these upward moving markets, it actually may be fine. The market may catch up to whatever price. But if they have true motivation and timing of when they want to get somewhere, the way I would usually end up going about that is I'd say, hey, let's go ahead and do what you said. Let's go ahead and test the price. Notice the words, test the price up here and write down whatever that number is. You've shown them the comps. They know it's up too high. Say, let's go ahead and test the price here for, let's say, 2 weeks. Why 2 weeks? Because the average days in the market is 13 days. And so after 2 weeks, if we don't have a buyer, then we probably missed the mark. And the market is talking to us. You never blame you or them. It's the market is the bad guy. The market is talking to us, and they would tell us that the price wasn't right. And then we need to make an adjustment. Language is important. It's not a reduction, it's an adjustment. So we need to make a price adjustment. And we move down here. So I thought Bill was going to bring this up because he told me a story recently of what he did, but you can write in, and I used to write into my listing agreements, multiple reductions. Sometimes I would have 3 or 4 listed out, where we're going to do this price till this date, this price till this date, this price till this date, this price till this date. I'd put that into the additional provisions. Obviously ask for your lawyer or your broker to help you write it up, but you get the concept. If this property isn't under contract by blank date and time, the price moves to blank, right? And then usually they get it, and then they're going to ask questions like, well, wait a minute, what if we're already negotiating with a buyer? And I'm like, cool, then you and I just decide that we're going to wait. It doesn't have to move. And then they're like, well, I don't want to have that out there that I could reduce the price. Like, it's only between us. No one else is going to know, right? Anyway, you're dealing with all those kind of things, but now they're in the mindset of, hey, I'm going to start here and I'm going to try for this amount of time. And if it clicks, boom. And if it doesn't, I'm going to go here. And sometimes in reality, I would have to go through maybe 2 or 3 or 4 of those reductions to get them back down to the space. But that's what they needed to do. They needed to, in their heart or their mind, they needed to know they tried for that higher price, and then they moved down and they moved down and they moved down.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes.
Any questions on it?
No, I mean, I like it, yeah, but is it again like, do I need to tell about bad experience or not? It's just simply
about your personal experience? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's huge. I think it's valuable. Everybody on the call knows I love stories. Okay, I love stories. And everybody loves stories. Everybody loves to learn by stories. So Yevon, if you can say, hey, Yevon, I had these people, Sally and John, they were in your position. See, that's now they're listening, right? Yevon, they were just like you. They had this property and it was priced, the comps were showing this and they priced here. And here's what happened. And you can give the fable of the one that crashed and burned and they never sold. And then you can give the fable of the one that they made the adjustment and it sold. You can talk about how long it took them to sell. Again, you can tie the story into whatever their situation is, their motivation, their timing. Do they need to sell right away or not? Right? What is their objective? Where are they going? And what's the time frame? Now you can pull a story out of your past, your example, to share with them. I 100% think that that's valuable.
Okay.
I like
cool.
Angela's answer too, by the way, to show them the data. Do both.
Yes,
I will do a listing presentation
well.
for hours. Go ahead, Angela.
Yeah, I agree. The story is important. And you have the data for the market for the neighborhood, but also your own personal advice. That's where your advice comes from, is from past experience or what you've learned from other agents. So definitely that story of relating it to their situation. And I agree.
Mhm.
Are
Yeah,
you
it's a
going to use
cool one.
stories, Yevon?
Will use like both. Yeah. For example, if people will ask me like to put like 10, 15K over market price, probably I will go with Angela strategy, like just show the market. If people will ask me like put like 40, 50K over, market, probably I will go with my kind of like bad experience and show them like, yeah, couple houses which I cannot solve because like we did the same mistake and yeah, we missed the market and yeah, people lose the money.
You, Yevon, if you do this, you lose the market. Try to think back in your mind of when they lost something big. Like, yeah, let me tell you about Sally and John. They did want more, and I completely understand why. And so they overpriced by 40 grand. And we went out on the market, and the market initially had some showings, but then nothing. The problem for them was that they had their dream home under contract contingent on selling this home, and it fell apart and they lost their dream home.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
more details you can paint, like it was on the beach and it had a view and it had the swimming pool in the backyard they wanted, and it was right next to the school for their kids, and they lost it. I mean, I know you've been around a long time, you've done a lot of deals. So you probably have those kind of examples you can bring to the table, yes?
Yes, yes, I do. Yeah,
That
I
would
asked, I
tell the
asked this
truth.
question because yeah, I asked this question because like I got listing like almost 6 months ago, and it was overpriced like 60K over the market, like price. And my manager in my office always told me like, yeah, any kind of deal you can take it, any listing take it, you just can renegotiate later, or market will show like real value, so like just take it. And I used couple times this kind of like advice, and both kind of like listings I lose. It lost. So and this type kind of like this philosophy for me personally I feel like doesn't work, so I need to kind of like renegotiate the price at the beginning, or like I will like just lose the listing because like 60K 50K I think it's a lot, and it's difficult to understand. And I'm upset a little bit because like I just found out like maybe a month ago this house was kind of like relisted by another agent, and I spent like 6 months. We've been like from like 460, 450, 40, 30, 20, and my sellers they give up on 405. They said, "Oh no, we never sell." I said, "Like guys, let try like be like close to 400,000. It's kind of like real price for right now. We missed the time when it was 420 when I suggest to kind of like list it." And right now they just I sold this house for 385. So it's kind of like little, you know, mind blowing because like it was the market for their area, the houses kind of like selling for like 420, 450, and kind of like it, it was like real deal. They kind of said no, 460. So we put like 460, stay 6 months, and right now like they just sold for like 385. I mean, unbelievable.
Yevon, that's a great story for your next situation for overpricing. We should have added another dynamic. You have to know what market you're in. These rules of thumb, they don't apply to all markets. So if you're in an upward moving market, really going fast up, then that's where you take a listing at any price because the market might catch up, right? If you're in a flat market or a declining market, you've got a different strategy because you just shared a declining market problem. You said when they first came in the market, it was 420 to 450, and they went above it at 460, and then the market went down, and they ended up selling at 385. That is a great story for your next time somebody wants to overprice. You don't notice I didn't give all the stories about the other agent and stuff. Look, these people, their story is they listed at 460 when the market was somewhere between 420 and 450. I actually like the range because I would share the range. And I'd say, but then, ready? They chased the market down. That's not my
Right.
words. That's phrases from the old timers. They used to use this language and it works really great. They chased the market down. They were behind the market. The market started moving down because they started in the wrong place. They started moving down, but they were moving down slower than the market. So they were chasing the market down and they ended up way below where they should have. Instead of selling for 420 to 450, these poor people sold for 385. 385. They lost, what is that, 50 grand, 60 grand in equity because they priced too high. They lost their ass as the market was going down. That is a perfect story for what I'm talking about. Can you feel yourself sharing that now with the next seller who says, yeah, I want to go over the price? You go like, yeah, you pick the price. You can do anything you want. Do you mind if I share a story with you?
Yeah. Send me this recording. I will show to my clients. Like Mike told me how to do it.
It's Mike's fault.
So emotional.
That's all
So
right.
nice.
You get more closings. It's all
It will
good.
motivate my sellers to sell faster.
Remember, that's what you got to get into in the beginning is their timing. When do they want it to happen? Right? That's the other thing that really helps play in with this. Yeah, you can price it 460, but what if it takes you a year to sell? Okay. What if it doesn't sell at all? What are you going to do? You got to ask these really tough questions because the seller has to come to their own conclusion.
Okay. Yeah, it's a simple one, but it's straightforward, right? The questions like that.
You got to ask the tough questions that you can't be so afraid that they're not going to like you because you ask the tough questions. What you'll find out is people will like you more if you ask the tough questions and if you say the things that are difficult. My wife was just giving me an example from yesterday where she had told somebody a really harsh reality. And all of a sudden, this guy went from being really mean to being like, you're my best friend. I mean, because people love reality shocks, okay? Because they're not hearing that from everybody else. Everybody else that came through the door is kissing their ass. You're saying, look, this is what I think you need to hear. Okay, but you're not going to say it. You're going to ask the questions to get them to come to the conclusion. If you can get them to come to the conclusion, that's what you need. You don't need, you already know what you think. You need them to get to the point where they're saying, yeah, we need to price it at X.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for all terms. All right, did that help you, Evan?
Yeah, it's a good stuff. Thank you.
All right, cool. I'm going to open the, go back to swing around to Bill. I think Bill had a question for the group. Hey, William.
I'm just writing something down. You just actually said something really good.
Glad to hear it.
So I like that the don't you say it, but to ask them the questions to come to the conclusion. So I kind of had this on my mind. I spoke to you about recently. So I had a list presentation recently with a unreasonable seller. The guy had a Southwest style home and he's wanting to market in other states. And I was trying to tell him that that doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense. But, you know, I guess that would be the thing to ask the questions to get him to come to that conclusion himself, because he had been through that already. So that was good. So I was going to ask just a couple of things came to mind from our further conversation that you had. Now, one thing I was going to ask is you were talking about staying and talking until you can get the listing to get the people's agreement. But then I've also seen you have like a 10-minute listing presentation. And then there's this whole idea of, well, my time's important. And so, you know, hey, I got to go. I have more other stuff to do. So I guess that's one question is how do you balance that?
It's a great question. And there's no easy answer. That comes back to what we were just talking about with Yevon, which is you've got to make sure that the seller picks the price, and then you have to decide if you're going to continue this relationship with them based on the price and the terms and who the people are and how well you're getting along. See, all these other dynamics are going into that question. Like if you get in there and you're just not clicking with the people, you're not going to click with them if you stay another hour. So you might as well just wrap it up and leave. Especially if there's any animosity. It's very rare that that happens, but if things are just going south, sometimes just leaving. And by the way, sometimes that makes them want to talk to you more because you're the one that walked away. All right. So my philosophy has changed over time, but I actually like to spend as much time as necessary at a listing presentation or an initial buyer presentation. If I have the time in my schedule, I will stretch that out. I was just on a listing presentation with some folks on Thursday, 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours. Why? Because I couldn't figure out what they actually were trying to do. I kept having to ask a lot of questions, and in their case, they were going a lot of tangents, and I couldn't find out what they wanted to do. It took me 3.5 hours to get to a conclusion, which, by the way, was not to list the property. I'm actually going to try to help them do something else first. And if that doesn't work, then we'll come back and list the property. I've already created the relationship. They trust me. We've been talking since then multiple times a day. No big problem, right? But I had to try to identify the problem. And if I can't identify the problem that they're trying to solve, I can't help them. Does that make sense? So if I can do that in 10 minutes, awesome. But if it takes me 3 hours, then in this case, I had the time, I'm going to sit there and talk to them for 3 hours. I'm going to find out what they really need to do. And then I can brainstorm what's the best way to get them to that conclusion. Did that answer your question, Bill? I don't know if I helped or not.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, I think so. Yes. The other thing I was going to kind of bring out earlier is the seller picks the price thing. I guess that was kind of a quick twofold thing. So yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes I go into these listing presentations, and that's what I try to show people a range, and I say, the homes in your neighborhood that look great, same size, this is what they sold for. This is, the houses that needed a lot of work, and pick in the middle, and it works a lot. But then you always have the people who are, okay, I've had 3 other agents in here and they say to list for this and this and this, and why can't you tell me what I should list for? And I just try, then I try to go back to that thing. But I don't know. I guess it feels that, I guess that those people always say, you're the expert, you should be able to guide me. And so I guess that was the one thing. And then I'm going to leave off with the second thing, just a thought. I think I saw one of your listing webinars before, and I think there was a slide from a listing presentation, and there was an airplane going across the top talking about how, your prices are so high. And I guess this idea of, well, you can list at any price, how many, you can list your house for $5 million and we could sell it in 50 years, or, we could list it for less. And I thought that was a good slide that you had. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about.
I do. Yeah. And it also ties into no amount of advertising will get an overpriced listing sold. So we could fly banners behind airplanes over your house every single day, but if the price is wrong, it's not going to sell. Yeah, that also ties into that concept and that visual. So that, by the way, and we don't have enough time. We're going to wrap this up here pretty quick, but a well-done listing presentation answers all of the most common objections before they have the opportunity to bring them up. So that's something else that we'll maybe work on at a different time. But when you see and hear objections, this is perfect, because that means somebody's interested, but they're not quite there. You should be writing down whatever those objections are and then incorporating them into your listing presentation for your next presentation. Does that make sense? You want to answer the problem before it ever comes up. You want to solve the problem before it comes up. That's what I used to do. I'm trying to remember his name. Anyway, there's another top trainer that's what he did. Every time he would come out of a listing presentation, he had a yellow marker and a red pen, and he would make changes to his listing presentation. And that guy ended up listing crazy numbers, like 40, 50 a month, just crazy stuff, because he would go on any presentation to anybody. But his key, that wasn't the key. The key was that he kept adapting and changing and modifying the presentation after every single situation. When he didn't get it, he went and made changes. Does that make sense? All right. I don't know if I answered your questions, Bill, but we'll swing back around.
Yes. Sorry, I was muted. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to have to step out. I have a meeting. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for being here. And we're going to wrap up this this call for the production call. I hope it was fun. It was fun for me. Thank you for being here. Now we're going to switch into the huddle for the day. And so our huddle call questions, remember, we just do this really fast. Number one thing you did yesterday to move your business forward. Number one thing you're going to do today to move your business forward. Who would like to start?
Yeah, I can go first. Yeah, like yesterday, I follow up on all kind of like contracts I sent, and we cannot won any of them. So like it's a sad news, but yeah, today I will kind of continue to work with like these 4 buyers. So yeah, that's kind of like yeah, rolling up again this week.
Good. You said you're working with 4 different buyers?
Yeah.
And you just made offers for them this weekend, and they didn't come through.
Yeah, we made like 5 or 6 offers. Yeah, we got one just only back with positive news. We won, and other like guys, they lose.
Let me just remind you that you have an amazing opportunity to take those buyer needs and go out and get listings. Find out specifically what these buyers want to purchase, what neighborhood they want to purchase, size, price range, etc. And then do a marketing campaign either through mail, phone call, whatever you have information to reach out to those people, door knocking, and say, hey, I got a buyer who wants to buy in your area, and you give some particulars about them. With their permission, they will usually they will more than happy to do it. You can get some amazing listing opportunities.
Okay, thanks.
I've got another gal that I coach. She doesn't show up to these meetings. They're too early in the morning for her. But she was using this and she was giving some she's already having great success with this by sending a postcard, and then she starts to do some follow-up with some phone calls. But she wants to move into luxury and sell more high-end homes. And she just happened to bump into a buyer, which is really outside of her realm of buying, but $4.5 million buyer. She couldn't find what he was looking for in the market. So she designed, hey, I got a buyer need postcard, and sent it out into these really high-end neighborhoods and said, hey, I'm looking for something for this guy. Haven't found it yet. She got a call back. Unfortunately, it wasn't a 4.5 million. It was just somebody trying to sell a $1.2 million house. All right. So she was able to set up a listing appointment with them. And then real sad, she sent out this buyer need for a 4.5 million, didn't get a 4.5 million, but somebody called in who had a 9-bedroom house that they believe is worth 6.8. Oh, how sad. She's going to get something else, right? So she's already been talking to them on the phone about putting that property on the market. What I'm saying is, if you come at it a little different than everybody else, I got it, because it has to be real. You got these buyers that have this need, and your buyers really want places. They're not finding what they want. They're going to be happy to help you with this. You tell them the example of what you're trying to do, and then you gather as much information from your buyer and permission from them. Can you use their names? No. How about their first and last name? Okay, maybe. Can you use their picture? That's helpful. If you can, now you've just made it real. There are these real people out there that want to buy your home. Here's a picture of them. Sally and John, they want to buy your house. They can buy up to $500,000. They're looking for this neighborhood and this type of house. You seem to have a house like that. If you're thinking about selling, you or your neighbors, please give me a call. I'd love to put you guys together. Make
Nice. Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got an opportunity to really just take one side of the deal and connect the other side, right? Be a true broker. Just like the old timers in the old days. They didn't have the MLS to go through, so they'd have to do this. They'd have to take this and find matches.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good one. Thank
You bet, Yevon. I hope that helps. All right, good. Who's next?
You have to run, okay? I will
What's
go.
that, Yevon?
I have to run, I said. I have appointment.
Oh, see you later.
Bye. Yeah, see you. Thank you so much.
All right, who would like to go next?
I'll go. Number one thing was yesterday, the listing appointment. And the number one thing today is the follow-up.
Tristan, I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited that you got yourself a listing appointment on your door knocking. Keep going on the door knocking, and good job with the follow-up. You know, the more times you put yourself in that situation, you're going to get stronger and stronger and stronger at listing people you haven't met before. So do not get discouraged. Get excited. You are on the right track. You are on the right track. Good work. Love it. All right.
Thanks.
Angela.
So Sunday evening, I was texting with a friend that said he had a friend that lives here in my area who is thinking about selling and buying a bigger home. So I just texted him because it was late. Hey, let's talk tomorrow after you are off work. Let me know when you're available. So we had a phone call last night, and he gave them my information, but I also asked him, would you mind sending them a text to get permission if you can give me their information, just to make an introduction call. And so that was yesterday. And today, you know, I am working on my market newsletter and working on trying to just do as much prep as I can before I take a week off. So
Cool. That's fantastic. Good job following that lead. And just out of curiosity, where did that business come from? That potential business, this listing?
So he is an old friend that I have stayed in touch with, and I co-wrote a book a while back. So I've given him a book. He wanted a book, and so stayed in touch. And yeah, he just rented a house. He's in Montana right now. He lives there, and just rented a new house. So I've been really encouraging him and really happy for him that he made this new move. So we've stayed in touch. PCSOI.
PCSOI, a referral from your PCSOI, right? A connection that you didn't know about, but you knew him and he knew somebody else. And that was the connection that came back to you as a referral.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even live in either one of my states. And yeah, it's a very, currently, but we still stay in touch. So that's another reason, even if people move out of the area, they still have friends and family maybe that live in your area.
Excellent point. That's always been a question for the top agents. If somebody moves out of the state, do you continue to stay in touch with them? It's about 50-50. Some of them do, some of them don't. But now you can see why the ones that do stay in touch, stay in touch. They don't know if that person might move back in the neighborhood, or they still have connections in the area. And so they may send you a referral, like happened in this case. So great example, Angela. Good job. All right, let's see. Yesterday, I did some research for this potential seller that I met, and finally was able to track down the kind of person that I wanted to get them in touch with. So now they're talking with that person over the next, it'll probably be over the next couple of days. I found a really great person. It took me 2 days though to find somebody, that I believed in. And so I got them in touch with that person to chat and to get some information going to find out if I can just solve their problem where they're at, where they don't even have to move. But then if that doesn't work, then I've got the alternative for that may end up needing my services to sell that property and help them buy another one. So again, I think it's really valuable to just mention, always do the right thing for your person, and it's all going to work out the way it needs to work out. Okay. Maybe it'll be, for me, as far as business wise, it might be immediate business. It might be business in the future. I don't know. All I know is they're going to be super happy. And I think they'll tell everybody, hey, I'm super happy with what Mike did for me. So anyway, hope that helps. It was a fun meeting. Thank you everybody for being here. Good job and good luck out there today.
Thanks, guys. Great meeting.
All right, see y'all later.